You know, one of the best things about being here instead of shooting this at home?
What?
Not having your cat around.
Whatever, he's perfect.
Grandparenting for animals or pets.
Nah, that's a fun topic. Let's do it.
So if you find yourself to be a grandparent to animals, which a lot has changed in the last 20 years about pet parenting.
Pet ownership.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that anymore. Pet parenting.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because
My bad.
like we have several of our children that have animals.
Yes, we do.
And probably will never have children.
Right.
So by choice or other. And they treat their pets like they're, they go,
Children.
go talk to your grandpa,
I do.
Like, I'm a dog person, not a cat person.
I'm a cat person.
That's why we don't have a dog.
That's not why we don't have a dog. My cat's an angel. He'd be fine.
And we talk about back where pets even were domesticated. They weren't even like in the days of the knights and royal, all that castle-y stuff. Is that dogs, animals weren't considered to be like somebody that
a companion.
Right? They weren't a companion. Cats were for killing mice.
True. They had a purpose.
And dogs were for hunting.
Right.
Or they also were able to run around the castle during meals and they would wipe their hands on them.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I've read
Gross.
several accounts of that. So, and people who, that disagree with that. We were actually working a shoot once with this woman that was a client that she had wanted us to be out in her garden. She has a beautiful garden, and she wanted us to do. She was a pastor, so she was doing her mini sermons from her garden, and her cat caught a mouse or rat, and it was screaming through the whole thing practically. And it was like, oh gosh, that does not sound very nice.
That's not good.
Yeah. And it was, but because you can imagine if you're living in a castle and that's going on and the dogs are walking around and you're
normal.
like wiping your hands on them and going back to eating your meal and you can't. Most people wash their hands after they pet their
not wipe their hands after they eat on the pet.
And then it evolved and pets became more part of family, the lesson was they still were used for hunting.
Yes.
But they were also part of the family to teach the children about loss of life.
True.
That having a pet, somebody the children would become close to.
They become attached. Yes.
Yeah, and then a pet's lifespan isn't
wasn't quite as long as it is now. I mean,
right. So definitely nowhere close to what an individual's is.
Right.
So it was to help to teach a child about
mortality and life and death. And,
Also guards were for guarding,
they did that a lot.
Home,
but
that to know eventually that grandma and grandpa are going to pass away. Remember when Spot, we lost Spot?
I'm sure they didn't call them Spot back then. Probably didn't even name them.
Or
Dog.
That's one of my favorite John Wayne movies. He called his dog Dog.
Dog. Yeah. I love that. It's great.
And so later in life, one of my dogs, I named him DG because it was short for dog.
That's clever. Very clever. It's funny.
But so there was all these times of evolution of having domesticated pets.
Yes.
they all had a purpose in life.
Right.
And then now it's kind of seems to be like put on the millennial time that they've become more than just an animal.
They're a part of the family.
Right. And
you treat them like their family.
And like when I was that age in my 20s, I always wanted a dog. We'll talk about this just a second, but I always wanted a dog that was kind of my pal because I thought it was kind of cool to play frisbee with them and catch and
on the beach and
but I never really had time for that. And even though I tried, it didn't work out.
Didn't work out for you.
And then my point was, but then I didn't know a lot of people in their 20s who had pets. They had pets that they had as a child that stayed with the parents.
Right.
But then when they went on to college or even in their first jobs, they didn't have pets.
Yeah.
Today,
that's not the case.
Kids in their 20s not only have one pet, they may have multiples. Yeah.
Right.
And different, like one of our kids, his wife had a gecko or some kind of...
It's a lizard. It's a gecko.
Big lizard,
It's not very big.
And it's her pet, and she's had that for a while.
Yeah.
And so we've never had to gecko sit or anything like that. So
can't imagine there's a lot to do with the gecko setting.
But that comes that's kind of the other, like my dad never let us have any pets in the house. They had to be outside.
That's the opposite of me. We had pets in the house, outside the house. I lived in the country, and we had all kinds of pets. We had indoor pets and outdoor pets. I had a horse. We had cats. We had dogs. We had all of it.
That explains why you have an alley cat now.
Yes. That is rude. He is not an alley cat. He is precious.
Okay. So anyway, so like my dad, when so we that's where I think I never really had a fondness for cats because we had a cat once and we kept him outside.
And it wouldn't play with you.
In the
garage.
That's
surprising.
He attacked me.
You never said he attacked you.
He scratched me, and then he would take off and wouldn't come back for days. And then did
he come from the pet cemetery?
Probably like your cat, but that's another story. Anyway, so he wouldn't come back for days, and then finally he never came back. And then we had dogs, and they would always hang out, and
that cats aren't like dogs. Just didn't know if you knew that or not.
Right.
They don't necessarily need your approval or your companionship. They're individuals.
So the dogs of that time weren't necessarily a part of the family. Now, my grandma and my papa, my mama and papa on my mom's side, they were probably one of the first ones I've ever seen like you treat their pet like a
really?
Like it was They had a Chihuahua named Tina.
Was it named after Tina Turner?
No.
Oh, okay.
And they talked to that dog like it was one of their kids.
What'd you do? It's just so precious.
Yeah, and he was sitting in my papa's lap. Nobody got to sit in my papa's lap except for that dog. And they would.
Were you jealous?
No. And so it was. Tina got all the attention. Got a lot of attention, and so that was one of the first times I'd ever seen. Consequently, one of my uncles, my mom's brother, he has a Tina that I can't get out because he's a big manly man, and then he got this little dog that
That's funny.
that has sitting with him all the time, and so anyway, that was kind of like the first time I ever really witnessed that. I think to that extent, and even with some of my friends that had dogs, they were outside dogs or.
My mom had a Chihuahua too. His name was Bubba, and he was a jerk. And my mom loved him, and he was part of the family. He got preferential treatment, very much so. So yeah, I couldn't stand him.
Yeah, and so one of our daughters has a murderous dog.
He's not a murderer. Okay, that kind of dog is bred to kill small animals. So that is why that is in his DNA. to capture and kill small animals.
Which he did regularly and seemed to enjoy it.
Before he had Jordan. Yes.
But so, what type of dog that you get is important when you you're starting to look for that with the family. And,
right.
So that a lot of parents would never treat the dogs, back 20 years ago. There was no way that...
No, I wouldn't say longer than that, like 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
That they would take a dog to spend $5,000 on surgery.
No way. No.
They want to take them to work with them.
Or buy regular pet treats.
Yeah.
Or...
have monitoring devices.
Yeah.
So want a day off because your dog's sick.
My dog is sick.
For me, one of the best things about being a grandparent is the toys.
Is it now?
This one is a favorite. It's from Playskool. It's a busy ball popper toy.
Very loud.
And it's been a hit for us. I mean, we thought when we got this because the kids, we thought it would be good for them when they were just toddlers to be able to grip something and to push something.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of
hear a noise and to make mechanics work.
It's good for coordination.
And so it can be a little noisy, and after 300 times straight, it might get on your nerves. But remember, they're going home to their mom and dad. So you just push the button, and there you go.
Down.
And they love watching
They love it
these
so much.
little colored balls go down.
I try to grab them in the midair.
Now, the one thing you have to watch, and we have 4, 5, 8-year-olds that still come over and play with this thing.
And an 18-year-old likes to sometimes.
And they will see if other things will go through there, like
golf balls,
Cheetos,
ping pong balls.
Any number of things. So you have to watch it. You might find yourself cleaning it out from time to time, but it is a lot of fun.
Super fun.
And you should definitely put this in your arsenal of toys, and you might find yourself playing with it.
A lot.
I saw the other day we were driving somewhere, and they had I don't know how this is possible, but I saw a pet acupuncturist.
No way.
Yeah. It was on the sign. I don't know. So I don't know how you get a pet to sit long enough for.
That's a good question. How do you get them to sit? Depending on the breed, you might be able to get them to sit still.
I had a friend who had their daughter had a rat.
That is a pet that our parents and parents would never have.
No.
Ever. That is just no. Rats are. I'm sorry. They're not pets.
According to a study by GrandPet, there are 17,000 pet owners of rats.
What?
Yeah.
That is a crazy statistic.
And that, according to them, rats like to be tickled.
Ugh, no. No, I knew someone that had a rat, and it had a really long tail, and it would crawl around on their neck, and they're just like, and I'm like, nope, keep that thing away from me.
Yeah.
No.
There are people that'll take pay cuts because they want to be in places that I saw someone complaining that they didn't get bereavement for their pet lost, dying. And that they went to work all depressed, and that they should have been offered that.
Oh, sorry. I am sorry. That kind of is just a little bit. You have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you can't.
You're not going to catch people 40, 50 years ago buying medicines to help calm them during like fireworks or something like that. They're just going to be like, well, I'm sorry. You wouldn't, that would not be a thing that would happen that long ago.
Right.
Nope.
And, excuse me, I know that one of our daughters works with us here, and she brings her dogs regularly, but pets are a lot of work, and they're not like having a child. Eventually your child is going to grow up.
Right.
And be able to more take care of themselves than you taking care of them. A pet is consistently, and you have to.
They depend on you.
I couldn't
completely.
I don't know. Reached a point in my life where and you see this a lot, especially with our children, that someone can't stay somewhere because they got to go home and walk the dog, or make sure somebody gets their medicine, or they get fed, and so many.
Yeah, it interferes. Well, okay. To us, maybe it interferes with life.
Yeah,
but to
it's
them,
difficult to plan your life around.
Yeah,
and
that's that again is their choice. If they want animals in their life, that is their choice. That is their consequences.
And the point of this show is, as a grandparent to pets,
yes,
that again, you're trying to figure out ways to. It's not like my grandma never asked me how was my dog.
Right. Right. Exactly.
She might have been afraid to, because she knew that sooner or later he might end up at her place because they had a lot of land. And so and that's where a lot of the family, the dogs that didn't work out in the home ended up at the house that had a lot of land. And so but I don't, even my grandparents that had Tina didn't ask how my pets were.
Did you ask how Tina was?
No, she was almost like a cat,
Oh, okay. I see.
A little nuisance. But,
whatever.
And
what do you think pet grandparents should do, say, if they want to bring them to your house?
Now, I don't agree with one of the things that I saw that they talked about was is having treats, special treats for.
Oh, I thought we talked about that.
Yeah, special treats, and one of them was to pet-proof your house, like you would.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
A child-proof your house.
Yes.
And I like no, watch your. I'm more of like.
Watch your dog.
Watch your pet when you have them over.
Yeah.
Don't let them, keep them away from things, and
keep them off the couch.
Yeah. Because there's just there's a little bit, but I do, I love my daughter's dogs. So probably one of them in particular, I can say I have a favorite pet.
Wow,
GrandPet. I would never say that about my grandkids. Wouldn't say that about my grandkids, but I would say that about my grandpets.
Yeah.
I got a favorite. He's usually pretty chill. He always comes in looking for me, wanting to pet him and then see if I dropped any food. And so I have a favorite out of all of our grandpets, that'd be the one that, I'd want. I'd be happy to take care of, but we've tried having a dog. It didn't work out in our situation because we picked the wrong dog.
We probably picked the wrong dog for us.
Our situation and our lifestyle, and that's important. If you plan to have a dog, that you really need to take that into do the research, and not that we didn't do research, but we thought that we could handle his needs, and we couldn't. And nor was he the right dog, because then it wasn't long after that we started having more grandchildren. Yeah, and he wouldn't have been a good.
He wouldn't have been a good fit
for them, and so that was always kind of what we had in mind, was being someone else that the grandkids could play with, and because they all have
and they all love my cat.
Anyway,
everyone.
Anyway,
except for him.
Anyway, so because I don't like my toes to be smushy in the morning when I walk through the house to try to get the coffee.
Which rarely happens. He's making a big deal out of nothing.
Happens almost several times a week.
No, come on.
Okay, what rarely happens is that I don't step in it anymore because I'm always looking for it. Okay. That rarely happens.
Okay, anyhow.
But anyway, so, and then the older generations now are warming up to, like, my brother and sister-in-law, her parents have a couple of dogs.
Older dogs.
And they treat their dogs like...
Oh, yeah. Like their kids.
Yeah.
They are jealous of each other. The animals are jealous of each other. One gets more attention than the other one. The other one is like,
Yeah.
Not having it. Nope.
So, as you know, from time to time, we talk about different toys on the show.
Yeah.
And then we like to show you how to get them. And one of our
So
favorites is the 69-hole rocket bubble gun.
Oh my gosh. And he's going to open it and count the holes.
She's always telling me what to do.
That's true.
1, 2, 3, 4. I better count the holes another time.
Yeah.
But as you can see, count them for yourself. 69 holes. And what it has is a rechargeable little unit.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say it's a rechargeable unit with a dish. You have a packets of bubbles. Pour them in there.
Well, give me a minute. I
Sorry.
can pull out the packet of bubbles. And then you mix them all up in here with a little bit of water.
Yep.
And they dip it in and go after.
Loads of fun.
Hours of fun. They'll chase you around. Be prepared to be bubbled. Because they will chase you around and make this fun for you and the entire family.
Yep.
And then try to surprise their parents when they come home.
Oh,
They'll get all bubbled. Plus, the bubbles, when you do them just right, they make some incredible pictures.
it's beautiful pictures for sure.
So don't forget the rocket 69 hole
Got to make sure and add that.
rocket bubble gun. We'll have the link for you down below, and try to pick this up. It's a lot of fun.
Bye.
And like some people, you understand that when you get older, that you might want that kind of companionship.
Yeah.
It incites for some people that it forces them to have to go for a walk that might otherwise not, because they have to take their pet for a walk.
Right.
And doing things for the pet, feeding them, getting them water,
Yeah.
playing with them, talking to them.
Yeah. I mean, it keeps you physically, mentally, emotionally active. It keeps you and can keep you sharp longer.
We had a friend of mine that was also a landlord at one time. His wife was much younger than him, and she had told me the story after he passed away that he had cancer, and one of the things he made her promise was to get a dog when he passed away. And he insisted on it, and I think he even had her get a dog before he passed away, just to make sure that she lived up to that promise. And in walking that dog, she eventually met a neighbor that became her new husband. And it was like he knew, it's like he had this, and they've, as an elderly couple, they've been happily married and still walk their dogs and
That's so sweet.
do all those kinds of things. So having that companionship can be important
Yeah.
in varied situations, but like say this because I think it's kind of like it wouldn't be fair to a dog for us to have a dog because we do so much. We're traveling, we're spending time with the grandkids, we're working, that there just wouldn't be enough time to devote to a dog.
Trust me, we've had this conversation a lot.
Yeah, we talk ourselves out of it all the time. It takes a little while, but we do.
We do.
And but we like my brother and his wife, they have a dog, but they travel a lot and they work a lot.
And they depend on help.
Yeah, and so it's like I didn't think they should, but she wanted a dog.
Yeah.
And and they'll never listen to this, so I'm not worried about them getting upset. But it's funny. But like my dad, who's 84 this year, he doesn't want a pet because he realizes he doesn't have time. He travels a lot.
He does travel a lot.
Plays golf, does things with the church,
Grandkids.
the grandkids, and so he doesn't have time, nor does he have that void in his life.
No, he doesn't. He's got a very active, busy life.
So it's important to him, that you really have to acknowledge whether you should have a pet in your life or need a pet in your life. And if you have kids who have pets in their lives, and if you are a grandparent and you have grandkids, and I think that a lot of these, like even the woman that I said that her husband insisted, their kids were already grown.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know what their grandkid situation was, and they may have been older too. That, I think it's important to wait until your grandchild's older so that they know better how to deal with the pet and vice versa.
Yeah.
because if they're tiny, you don't know. We had a dog once that when our second child was born.
Oh, yeah?
It was a little miniature schnauzer, and he was more my dog than anything, and my little buddy. And then when our second son was born, all my extra time went towards the boys. And not to the dog. Well, one day we left, and when we came back, he had gone to the baby's room and ripped up a bunch of his stuffed animals. And
he was jealous.
Yeah, and then we knew that we had to find him another home, and we did. But yeah, it was definitely a situation where...
Were you sad?
Well, yeah, but, you know...
But, I mean, I know you had your kids, but, I mean, like, you had to have had some form of affection towards the dog, so was it... On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it?
I don't know. It wasn't that hard, but it's not like, you know, I've heard people say that, you know, that their kid may be allergic to their pet and that, you know, eventually they'll grow out of it was their thought process and not to So
you think your kids were allergic to him too?
My kids? I thought that my daughter was allergic to cats.
I meant like
on.
the two babies with the dog.
Oh, no. It was just that he acted out and didn't want to,
Was there any signs leading up to tearing up the toys?
You know, just the usual, like if I'm holding him, that maybe he's trying to get attention while I'm giving attention to the baby and things like that. But
yeah, I don't think we had, my mom, when I had my oldest daughter, my parents still had the Chihuahua. Yeah, they still had the Chihuahua. And I was living with them, and we had the baby, and the dog did pretty good with that transition. And then when we had a dog, outdoor dog that we had, and a cat. My three were younger.
But we're probably not going to do a show about here's a bunch of movies you can watch with your dog and show a bunch of toys that you can play with your grand dog, you know, and things like that. You know, I mean, I don't know. We might have a toy or two for a grand dog. That might be.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could do that. We could review some toys. We could review maybe some cat or some. I don't know. Toys is a good idea. I think it's a good place to start. I was going to say treats, but you can't really test treats.
No, but you know, it might be. We might talk about that at some point, but
could have a special guest talk about their animals.
Yeah, that's true. That you know how to. I think the thing that would be difficult is how, and I have no idea how, is to get the pet, how to get them introduced and involved with the grandchild.
Yeah,
you know,
I know there's a process, but I don't know.
But you know, really, kind of what we were talking about was GrandPets. You know, that if you have a family situation where your child only has a pet and may never have a kid, you know, like one time I know that we weren't prepared for this. We had a former daughter-in-law that brought her pets over, didn't ask. Didn't tell us, you know.
Forgot about that, yeah.
And they're just running around the house,
jumping on the furniture.
Right. And, you know, and she wasn't exactly watching them either.
No.
So it was...
I think there should be also, as the owner of said GrandPets, there should be certain... The owner of the pet should know that there are certain, or ask if there are guidelines to when bringing over a pet. Do you want them on the furniture? Is it okay if they go in the backyard? Things like that.
Right. One of the articles I read was talking about that you should have the same consideration for your child's ideals of raising the grandpet as you would the grandkids.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I'm not on board with that.
No,
you know,
not really.
Sorry, pet owners. You know,
sorry,
I know
y'all.
you should love your pet. I understand, you know, why you would have a pet, but you know, I think of that more like if I took my grandkids over to somebody's house, I wouldn't just let them run wild.
No.
I would
Absolutely not.
I would stay with them, and if the grandchild wasn't in a situation where it looked comfortable for them, or they started to exhibit, that kids, no matter what, they get antsy, they want to do something else.
Right.
Then I would leave and go home or wherever they could, exhibit their needs, and not be at that person's house and put that on them.
Right.
And I think the same should be said of a grandpet, because more so as a grandparent, you can tell your grandchild, "Oh, don't do that, honey,"
Right.
because of whatever, But sometimes if you tell a grand dog that, he might snarl at you.
And that's very true.
And so and that the person who is the parent of that pet
Right.
should be the one that disciplines that pet.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And not be
the one who
expected
lives with
upon.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so those are things that the consideration should be involved with. And I think that the hard part would be, we love having all of our kids over and all
my
our
gosh,
grandkids
yes.
at the same time. But if they all brought their pets,
It would be absolute chaos.
yeah,
Because no one takes care of their animals the same way.
right.
So they each have different rules and expectations and how they do things. So it would be mass chaos.
I would not enjoy that.
Oh, no.
There's no way I would
No.
feel that was pleasurable, So I think that there are distinctions between pets and grandchildren.
There's definitely, for sure, yeah.
Grandpets, sorry.
GrandPets.
And grandchildren.
Yes.
And we'll have to leave it up to you to decide for yourself how you live in your world and in your life, But for us, I think there are absolute distinctions. And we're not psychiatrists or therapists or
the views expressed on the show are not necessarily
those of and we're not pet experts, so we don't we can't say for certain, but I think that we were at Walmart earlier and there was a guy with his Pomeranian, and
I mean, I don't know, it could have been a service dog, but I didn't see any indication that it was a service dog.
All of that to me just looked like, why am I going to bring my dog into Walmart and I had to carry him the whole time, and I'm trying to shop and I'm trying to get things in the basket or whatever.
Yeah.
Or we were at this food truck event a couple of weeks ago, and a couple is walking with their dog, and he's got these wonderful food
vendors everywhere,
all over the place, and everybody's eating their turkey leg or their what are those shrimp things you get, the
shrimp kebab things,
the shrimp kebab things, and the corn dogs, and all this stuff, and then this big dog, it was not a little dog,
no, it was not,
takes a big deposit,
right in the middle of the street,
front of everybody. All of a sudden, some of the organizers are scrambling.
Well, at first that I thought that the pet owners were going to do the right thing and pick it up.
Yeah, the woman gave the dog to the man,
and she walked off.
Looked like she was looking for.
It did. She came back and they didn't do anything and just walked off, and they were chased down by some of the organizers of the event.
Even the police showed up.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And they came back and picked up the stuff and deposited it in the proper. But those are one of those things that, if you have your pet,
you have to.
He's going to be outside. If you had a baby, you would have a diaper bag,
right?
And with all the necessary things,
and you
would
throw
need.
It away in the trash can. You wouldn't throw it on the ground,
right? You wouldn't just plop. So nothing against pet owners.
No, nothing at all. We love our grandpets.
Yeah, and and if we ever do decide it's time for us to have a pet, we will love the heck out of that.
Yes, exactly.
With a little guy or gal, and make sure that they have a great, wonderful home and experience, but that's probably still a few years away.
Yeah.
As we still haven't gone to Tuscany. That's where she wants to go. So I have to take her sooner or later. But so please don't take this in any way, shape, or form as harmful.
Don't be offended.
Just a topic we
just
thought, leave your thoughts, ideas, about how to deal with it yourself, or how maybe you've done it yourself.
Yeah, we'd love to hear back.
Please don't be mean about saying, "Well, we're now them bloody reckon."
We're just talking.
Yeah, we're just kind of
just
talking and having some fun, and
Yeah.
so but they can be fun.
They can. They can be fun and loving and a great companion. Absolutely. I have one, so I know.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining. Be sure to watch us on OK Movie Stream. It's on YouTube, the Facebook, all the places, and then you can listen to us anywhere that we have normally been over the last few years. And we love the fact that so many people are following Being Grandparents.
I know, it's pretty awesome.
We really enjoy you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.